Hello, people.
On! Happy
It's
Friday! I
Friday. See, thinking
I
the
love
same
it.
thing. It's Friday.
I know. All right, for everybody out there, welcome to episode 10. For no particular reason, where my amazing co-host Yanko, which is such a cool name when you think about it, Yanko, a hypnotist out of I think Chicago, but I always forget this stuff, somewhere over there. Um, discusses with me, Kerry Lewis, all things about nothing in particular. So thanks for joining us for this edition. How you doing today, Yanko?
Pretty good, pretty good. And I
Love it.
kind of feel pumped now.
I know. Well,
I know.
it,
Thank
it
you.
just
That was great.
right. All it
You
took
want?
was a pill and a pizza. No, just kidding, people. So prior to us hitting live, Yanko and I were talking about movement, and something that I love to do when I'm feeling low energy or just in a malaise is to dance. And so I put on a song that had a nice bop to it, and we were bopping. And so now we're bopping into this show, and I'm ready to rock and roll. What about you?
I'm kind of the same. I'm feeling great. It's Friday, all that energy, everything, and you're right about that. It's something about the body moving. It's moving the energy. It's shifting. It always helps. I'm even thinking of like sometimes they have events around me because I'm on in the Chicagoland area, and they have like shamanic drumming and stuff like that. So I'm thinking one of those weekends I'll go to one of those
That would be
and
so
get some
cool.
drumming going. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's funny on my music playlist. I have a lot of Native American music, and like actually, just because why not? I'll show you a little bit of what I do, and I'll totally vibe to it because there's something about just I don't know, it just gets me flowing. Okay, so this is one of them. And then hang on. It goes I'm gonna jump in if it takes too long because I don't want to torture our audience, but wait. I remember going to a Native American, I don't even know what it's called, when I was young, and it had such a profound effect on me. I remember just feeling so much joy. And then, like, fast forward 30 plus years later, I am still very much drawn to like the flute and the drums and just the rhythmic beats. It just gets me so excited.
I know music sometimes puts you on that like outer state of being, like in a trance state where you kind of like allow your body to do whatever it needs to do to like relax or deload and in unload or whatever you want to call it. So it's great. I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking about stuff like that. I was in a conference when I even tried a cacao ceremony. I don't know if you ever experienced one of those. So it's specially harvest cacao beans.
Do you know
Yeah.
Tarak? Hi, Tarak.
Hello, Tarek. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it.
He's a friend. So
Well, this time it's
cacao
in English,
ceremony.
so I can read it. The last time it was in, I don't know. I was like, I have no idea what this
uh,
says, but I appreciate you dropping a comment. All right,
well,
so
a lot of my friends are from Bulgaria. So, and if it's coming up, they just hop on and assume that it's Bulgarian or maybe like I understand it. So, no problem there.
yeah, you
But
can
to circle
decipher it.
back in the cacao ceremony, um, that was like the whole mood and the setup was great, and there was a little bit of drumming to get you in that thing, but the cacao they harvest it like specially picking it up by hand and grinding it and mixing it. It's not like it gives you any kind of hallucinations or anything like ayahuasca would.
Yep.
But the whole ceremony, it was amazing. I highly recommend to anybody that haven't experienced cacao ceremony to do it.
Tarek, we
Oh, we
appreciate you
appreciate
being
you
here.
stopping by.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. We
You can
like to
always
chat with
join
our
us too.
audience. So if
We love
anybody
good
else wants to share,
conversation.
ask us anything, we're here for you.
Yep. Um, that's interesting. Truthfully, I don't like you say cacao, and I
Right.
immediately think chocolate. Like I'm like, oh, he's feeling chocolate. I'm with it. I don't know what that is. I know what ayahuasca
I know
is.
because like yeah. So I mean if you look around your yeah, if you look around your neighborhood somewhere, if there is somebody, maybe I can find somebody that I recommend to you. Um, but like the whole drumming with everything and clearing the space and setting the intention and the mood, and you have the cacao, and it doesn't taste like chocolate per se. It's still like you have the cacao taste,
Yep.
but it's a lot more richer because like if I can compare it to coffee, because like I love coffee, if the way of how you're preparing it matters, because in coffee, when you steam it at high temperature, a lot of the oils vaporize, and so you lose a lot of the taste and everything. But without cacao, like when you have it in the little cup, you can see the oils on the top and everything that the cacao releases, and it was just amazing. It was a great experience.
Well, it's so funny because we started this topic about movement,
Yeah, we're
which
getting
is
good energy here too. Like my friend Kiri set the mood really good. So welcome aboard.
um so we started talking about movement in the beginning, which I think is really important, particularly for our audience, guys. Our body is not meant to be sedentary. And I just had this conversation yesterday with my community, and again this morning with a woman I was having breakfast with. And, I think there's a lot of narrative that makes people believe there's something wrong with them because they can't focus for long periods of time, or there's something wrong with them for getting distracted. And I tell people all the time, we're energy. We are constant energy that flows. And so we need to move our body. And when you start to feel kind of sluggish, even if it's at school, I encourage my children all the time. I don't even care. Get up and say you have to go to the bathroom and skip down the hall. Or, you know what I mean? Get up and shake your hands to something, because it will start to move that energy, and it will naturally bring like a lighterness to you, even if you're doing hard things. And that's
Yeah,
super, super important. But then you brought another topic up while you were talking about the cacao that I think is important to highlight too, which is intention. Like, so you talked about like the intention, the setting of the space that you guys went into so that you could prepare this cacao. And I'm a huge proponent of setting intentions for how I want my day to unfold, how I hope to show up in service for people, how present I can be as a mom. So I'm constantly kind of setting the stage for the experience I want to have before I have it. And that really helps ground me into whatever I'm doing so that I can experience the benefits of whatever it is I'm doing as best as I can. I'm leaving that for you to answer, Yanko.
right. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of the same to me, but sometimes I get involved in whatever the play is. So I have to like circle back and get to whatever the intention was set to be, and that applies to anything. If you let your mind running wild, you're just running wild. Like
Yeah.
there's no thought behind, because you start to do one thing, then something comes up, you go into that thing, and then you hop on the next thing, and in 15 or 20 minutes you might even forget what you originally set up to do, and you end up doing something else.
Yeah.
And and it's kind of funny, because when you think about it, you think most people think like most people think that they're living their life. They think they're in control, but they're not actually in control. Like the mind controls them, and they're just running autopilot with thoughts or things that are repeating themselves. And some people go even to the extent when they start getting hard on themselves, because they'll have like a critical thoughts coming in, and they'll start verbalizing it and be like, yeah, I've done it again, look at me, what a idiot I am, and all that. And they're doing the self-talk, which is also a really bad idea. I know you wanna comment on that.
You know I do, because I work in addiction and mental health. And here's the thing. Well, one thing that I've come to understand is um it is going to be our natural default to think negatively, to think from our ego, right? But for anybody who's like, ego seems really obscure to me, and I get that. Like, it is our natural default to have negative thoughts, ants, automatic negative thoughts, right? Because I mean, for so many reasons that I'm not going to get into, because it gets really heavy and deep. But if you know that, then that then gives you permission to be like, okay, I'm not bad, or there's nothing wrong with me for having a negative thought. But I can decide whether I'm going to let that negative thought control how I experience whatever's going on. So if I have a negative thought about myself and laugh at it because I know it's ridiculous, which is most of the time where I come from now, it doesn't impact my energy, and I really don't spiral into that story. But if I don't catch myself, that's where you said, our mind just has this thinking, it's like a monkey mind, and you're just spiraling into, I know for myself, when I was seeped in addiction, this abusive vitriol that would just keep me in shame and guilt. And so you're right. I think, yes, we're going to have those negative thoughts, but setting an intention, right? And not even an intention of how this show is going to go. I don't say, oh, I intend for me and Yanko to change the world. No. But I do set the intention. I intend to be present and laugh often and have fun while showing up on the show with Yanko. And the reason I do that is because there's not an expectation of how the show will come out, but I create this idea of how I want to feel. So when I have an automatic negative thought, which naturally happens to all of us, I can serve the way I want to feel. And if it doesn't, I'm like, be gone, you don't serve me. So that's how I kind of deal with that. But yeah, I am a big fan of setting intentions. And when I'm consistent at it, as I shared with you before we jumped on the show, like, life just seems to just work out. I don't have to work hard. It just kind of, it's like, oh, cool. Like this one, I woke up. I said, thank you so much. I really appreciate an opportunity to experience whatever comes my way today. My intention is to feel peaceful, joyful, and free. That's usually my intention in the morning when I wake up. And as I shared with you, one of my clients canceled. I got invited to a breakfast unexpectedly, which opened up opportunities and all of that. So being open is important. And then Tarek, absolutely, please ask a question. You don't have to ask either. You can either jump on and put it out there, and we'll be glad to answer it.
That's right.
While Tarek types in the question, um, what was your intention for today, Yanko?
My intention for today was into just have a wonderful day. I didn't really had an intention.
Yeah.
Sometimes, my intention is to be able to do some sort of service when I wake up in the morning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. Like if I can just smile at somebody, that could be it. Like I'm not looking to do greater things that I'm tasked to do. So one thing at a time, and
Well,
so that's usually how it is. And
speak.
sometimes I just get excited from like life just grabs me right at the morning by my son, jumping in the bed and saying, "Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up." Yeah. So let me like Tarek have a question. Yeah, let me post it for everybody to see. How do you direct your mind when you realize you have a negative thoughts? Okay. Do you want to take that or us or me or we can both go? I'll take it. All right. So usually you have to when you catch it, you have to do some kind of interrupt to get out of that thought because usually thoughts are repeating and you have like repeating thoughts that are going on, um, and in hypnosis they call it a pattern interrupt because you're like you've done this many times before you get to that point. You kind of train your mind to act that way because you weren't conscious of like what really is going on, and because of that you get to the point when you had that going on for you. So usually you don't change it by pure force. You don't go and say, I'm not going to think of that because there's also a thing that affects a lot of people when they have a thought. Like I'll give you an example. If you're sitting and if you're staying in bed and you're just here you go. Come on.